Okay, in this series, we'll be going over cervical neck flexibility. So the first stretch we're going to show you is the upper trapezius stretch. And on this stretch, you're going to take your arm coming to the opposite side of your head and pulling your ear towards that left shoulder, which George is showing. And this will stretch out that right side. If you don't mind pointing, George, where you feel that stretch. So through there is where you should feel that stretch. We hold for about 20 seconds to 30 seconds, doing 3 to 5 times on each side. And these stretches should not hurt, should not be painful. You're just taking it to a nice, easy stretch. Again, you should be doing these throughout the day. And that's the upper trapezius stretch. If you want more, you can tuck the left arm behind your back. If you want more of a stretch, they'll kind of just really isolate that a little bit more, bringing that left shoulder down. Or you can have it where George is kind of pushing down towards the stable a little bit. So that's the upper trapezius stretch. The next stretch in this series would be what we call the levator stretch. And on this one, you'll be looking down towards your armpit. I kind of almost explain it to some patients that you're going to almost like you're smelling your armpit. In this one, you should feel the stretch kind of in the back of the neck a little more. If you want to point out, George, where you should feel this one back there a little more. To isolate this stretch, you can kind of go back into that stretch, George. You can have your right arm over your back, like up and over there. Yep. And kind of coming down like you're going to scratch your back. And that'll isolate that a little bit more. And that's the levator stretch. On this stretch, again, we're having people hold for 20 to 30 seconds, 3 to 5 times. And the next stretch in this series will be called your sternocleidomastoid, or SCM. This one's a little more complicated. So you're going to side bend first, and then rotate up like you're going to look under the corner of a ceiling. And you should feel that stretch, if you want to point out, right in that front there, and you'll kind of feel that muscle tighten up a little bit. You want to be easy on this one. This one has a tendency to kind of flare some people up if you really push it. And on this one, if you really want to kind of get even more of a stretch, you can kind of pin the muscle down so the muscle kind of starts at your jaw and comes down kind of towards your kind of like above your pec. And you'll kind of pin it down there, and then you can kind of go into your stretch. So kind of like right above that collarbone. Again, holding that stretch for 20 to 30 seconds, 3 to 5 times on each side. The next stretch in this series is what we call like an upper cervical stretch. So this is really going to get the upper part of your neck and kind of work on the mobility there. And you're almost going to be making rainbows with your chin. So kind of going back and forth, kind of an up and down, making like a rainbow. So almost like an inverted U. And this just kind of works on that upper portion of your cervical spine, getting the mobility back there. I usually have people kind of do about 10 to 15 on each side on this one. And again, you should do this throughout the day. And it might not feel like you're really doing anything. That's fine. You don't need to push it to pain. Just a nice, easy movement here. The next stretch in this series is what we call SNAGS, and this one will involve a towel. You could use a belt as long as it's soft. But this is going to help you kind of work on your rotation, so turning your head. So on this one, if you want to work on turning to the right, like George is, you're going to use that right arm that he has out in the front and holding it still and using that left arm to kind of drive across to your body and turning that head. So you kind of want to turn with the towel and kind of using that towel to kind of give it some overpressure. Don't go crazy on this exercise either, okay? This has a tendency to kind of want to flare some people up as well. You're just working on getting that rotation back nice and easy. Hold it for a few seconds like George is doing. Good, and then about 10 on each side. and that'll help with rotation. And then here's the other side. So this is our cervical flexibility program.